This is Burma, and it is unlike any land you know, wrote the Jungle Book author Rudyard Kipling more than 100 years ago. Since 1989, the Republic of the Union of Myanmar is the official designation for this, the largest country in mainland Southeast Asia. Since 2010, Myanmar has been in transition from a military state to a democracy, and has only recently opened its doors to foreign visitors. Since 2011, Myanmar has followed a market-focused system. The economy is predominantly agronomic. Around 70% of the population works in agriculture, fisheries, or runs a small business. The median income is only around $1,400 per year, making Myanmar one of the poorest countries on the continent. A limited number of border stations allow for entry from neighboring countries. The small harbor town of Kautong is one of these. This is where we receive all our official permits on board the ship, and where we traditionally let our boat be blessed. Spread across the entire country are a multitude of impressive monasteries and pagodas. Around 85% of the population of Myanmar are followers of Theravada Buddhism. This is the oldest Buddhist doctrine prominent throughout Southeast Asia. Monks renounce all possessions. Items they need are provided by the local community. This includes daily meals and dark red robes, worn as the monk's garb. In 2016, Myanmar held open elections. These elections are a step in the direction of a disciplined democracy. The Constitution grants the military a quarter of all the parliamentary seats so they can continue to independently execute their goals. The election was won by Aung San Suu Kyi, who had received the Nobel Prize in 1991 for her efforts in the nonviolent struggle for democracy and human rights. With her party, the National League for Democracy, she received the overwhelming majority of the votes. The still young market economy remains at a low level, and as before, the fishing industry continues to represent an important source for the diet of its 53 million inhabitants. Almost half of the population covers their protein requirements with fish. The fishing boats are a workplace as well as the center of daily life for people from all parts of Myanmar. Unofficial export, as well as destructive fishing with dynamite, which was widely practiced in previous years, is being tracked and punished since Myanmar opened its doors to the international community. As a result of this added attention and law enforcement, the obvious overfishing in this part of the Indian Ocean is being counteracted. After we have received all necessary entry papers and our boat has been blessed, we begin our journey into the unknown part of Myanmar, the Mergui Archipelago. Mergui has been described as the world's largest undocumented archipelago. It is composed of some 800 islands spread along 600 kilometers of coastline in Myanmar's Andaman Sea, and around 40 islands in neighboring Thailand. While many islands are relatively small, others occupy hundreds of square kilometers. The majority of the islands are uninhabited. This incredible seascape contains most of Myanmar's coral reefs, along with its best preserved mangrove forests, seagrass meadows, and pristine beaches. Mergui's wealth of biodiversity and the significance of these resources to local communities makes it a site of global importance for marine and coastal conservation. While most of the world's population is land-based, living in fixed homes, there are those who prefer to follow a different lifestyle. A small number of Mokens still roam the sea and coasts of Mergui. They are the original inhabitants of the archipelago and strive to maintain their nomadic marine life. Either on a single boat or in a fleet, the families or teams sometimes wander great distances during annual fishing cycles. In a marine environment, the boat is a necessary part of life, a natural extension that allows these people to live the way they do, in harmony with the ecosystem. Originating in Taiwan some 5,000 years ago, the Moken likely first came to Mergui around the 16th century. Mergui, with its hundreds of remote islands and inlets, provided tranquility for the Moken and allowed their sea culture to blossom and flourish for many generations. Away from mainland civilization, living on their iconic kabang boats, the Moken have managed to preserve their unique cultural identity. Their customs have survived in part through their refusal to learn about the outside world. They live their ideology, surviving by sea hunting and practicing the values of non-accumulation, non-violence, and egalitarianism. Moken existence is a sustainable way of life that is in complete harmony with the rhythm of the sea. Rapid change for the Moken began in the 1980s, when thousands of Burmese migrated to central and lower Burma, including the archipelago, fleeing political unrest and economic hardship. The Moken normally have specific islands with which they associate and base themselves. Mergui's scale and abundant resources allowed the Moken to establish 5 so-called mother islands. Each of these mother islands belongs to a fleet of Moken. They are manned and inhabited by extended families. Each single boat or kabang represents a nuclear family. Nomadic marine life is impossible without a boat. It serves as a tool for transportation and fishing, as a home, and it is often the place of birth and death. The kabang is built and owned by an individual family, sometimes with the help of relatives and friends. In preparation for making a boat, the Moken say a prayer to the spirits of the forest, giving special respect to the guardian spirit of the tree. They ask the tree, "Will you agree to be cut down?" If the tree agrees, it is cut and hollowed on the spot, as it is too heavy to carry out of the forest. When the hull has taken shape, the Moken move it to the beach to finish the work. The boats are made entirely by hand using basic tools like axes and saws. Small fires are used during building to soften and stretch the hollowed-out log, making it wide enough for use as a boat hull. Both kabang and chapan require regular maintenance. To clean and seal the bottom of the boat, they burn a small fire underneath. This allows the boat to stay free of algae and move more quickly through the water. To outsiders' eyes, kabang may all look the same, but each has an individual character. Moken can easily identify a kabang from a distance. To move the larger kabang, they are often fitted with sails or with a motor in modern times. The smaller chapan are propelled forward from a standing position with crossed oars. By putting the weight into the oars in front, the canoe reaches surprisingly high speeds while remaining stable. The kabang is more than just a boat. It is a symbol of the Moken's nomadic ideology and cultural pride. Each kabang is like a microcosm of Moken society. It is both a vehicle and a shelter for a family, ideally composed of 2 parents and 5 children according to Moken custom. Women act as gatherers in Moken tradition, ensuring survival of the family by collecting food resources near the coast. The foreshore, the area between high and low tide lines, is the primary foraging area. Women look here to gather sandworms, mantis shrimp, and shells. The period of full moon tides, when the foreshore is largely uncovered for about 5 days, provide the most bountiful harvest. Hunting is a highly symbolic activity reserved exclusively for the men. The Moken believe that animals possess a spirit or a soul that determines which animals are allowed to be hunted or not. Dolphins and whales, for example, are not harmed because they have a soul that is considered related to a shaman or medium from the tribe who has already died. Animals with a spirit that can be hunted include the wild pig on land, as well as turtles and manta rays at sea. Moken have exceptional underwater skills, such as free diving and spear hunting. The Moken can hold their breath underwater and dive deeper than almost any other people on Earth. They learn to swim before they walk, and spend most of their life around the water. As a result, their eyes have adapted to aquatic environments. Like seals and dolphins, they are able to make their pupils smaller and change their lens shape, allowing them to see more clearly underwater. The Moken remain silent when encountering these beings as a mark of respect. To them, the arrival of a whale or dolphin is a sign of communication between 2 worlds, a situation that demands caution. The abundant resources of the Mergui Archipelago made it possible for the Moken to establish gathering areas between 5 mother islands. Each of these mother islands is home to 1 fleet of Moken with 1 big family. The social unit among the Moken is the nuclear family. Marriages are exogamic in nature, meaning the men go outside of their own group to find a wife. They bring her back to their own group and build a kabang. Once the boat is finished, they return to live with the group of the wife. Mangroves are trees or large shrubs growing in areas where fresh waters mix with the salty ocean. These habitats are subjected to regular tides, variable salinities, droughts, powerful storms, and heavy rains during monsoon season. The mangrove forests in the park are among the best conserved in Myanmar, with a high diversity of mangrove species and a high ecological value. Although it is prohibited inside the park boundaries, commercial fishermen use a variety of fishing equipment. Fishing is still the most important activity of the area, and many lives depend on it. Fishing is often unlicensed and poorly regulated. As Moken and other groups live in this environment, the development of the fishing industry is an imminent threat to their survival. Commercial fishing represents the biggest threat to the marine resources of the Mergui Archipelago.
At the night time, they have to take their good fishing spot around 6 o'clock, and then in the daytime they have to come and rest. For sleep, in the daytime. So they have to come back more protected area to get good sleep. Now, it depends on how much squid they get. If they get a lot of squid and a lot of fish, they catch until morning. They are working in 1 year just for 8 months. But at the full moon day, they don't have much work, because the sea is shining everywhere, and then the light is not useful for them, I don't really like to be a fisherman on squid boat, because at the night time it's so cold, then wet, and then the smell is so the smell is too fishy. I don't really like to be a fisherman. They don't know each other before, but they just come and meet at the boat. They come from different part of Myanmar. At the back of the captain room, there is just a tiny space, so we have to sleep together. It's quite not really nice to sleep, but we used to it. And then they have to get up at 3 p.m. At 3 p.m. to preparing their net. Sometimes it's not enough for the family. The captain get more. Yeah, if you get 2,000 baht, the captain get 8,000 baht. Every month we have to going back to the land. Because of full moon. Every month, nearly full moon, we have to going back to our town, and then from our town to the Thailand to sell overfish.
The Mergui Archipelago contains most of Myanmar's coral reef, along with seagrass meadows, making it of high global importance for marine and coastal conservation. Lampi Marine National Park, Myanmar's first and only marine national park, is composed of around 20 islands and their surrounding waters. The aim of the park is to conserve the rich diversity of marine and terrestrial life that reside here, as well as a variety of habitats, including evergreen, mangrove, beach, and dune forests. Lampi's coral reefs support a fantastic array of life: fish, crustaceans, and mollusks. Many of the coral species at Lampi are so-called framework species, which means they create complex, three-dimensional habitats with plenty of hiding places for a variety of small fish. The shallow waters around Lampi provide shelter for a wide range of coral reefs and tropical fish, including wrasses, damselfish, gobies, cardinalfish, groupers, butterfly fish, surgeon, angel, parrot, and scorpionfish. In deeper waters, schools of fusilier, grouper, snapper, and emperor fish are found together with sharks and larger rays, although their numbers are increasingly threatened by intensive overfishing. Although it is in decline, the illegal practice of dynamite fishing is unfortunately still common in the Mergui Archipelago. Its destructive effects are clearly visible on the coral reefs. In addition, dragnets and anchors scraping over the seafloor demolish wide areas of healthy coral. Another clear threat to this marine environment is the increasing amount of human garbage, including discarded fishing nets and plastics.
Because you need to think that this area, due to this isolation for many years, is an area that has been totally undocumented. Oikos is an Italian no-profit organization. It's an organization that wants to promote environmental conservation and the responsible use of the natural resources. Oikos started this journey together with the local authorities on one side and the community to understand the environment and to define which were the critical zone of the park that needed total protection and which, of course, were the area of the park that could have been used for the population to live in, because, of course, they still need to look for wood for their houses and so on. Tourism is a reality on the ground. We receive more or less 1,000 tourists through yachting tours, in boat tours in the park, which is at the moment the only form of tourism available in the area. But at this stage, there is no way for the local community to really benefit from tourism.
Mergui and Myanmar's Tanintari region are opening up for tourism, which offers new and alternative income and employment opportunities for the region. While community-based ecotourism is one of the most promising livelihood activities able to support conservation objectives, local people have few, if any, skill sets to develop tourism businesses and no working experience of the sector. To complement these community-based approaches, the Myanmar government is opening Mergui to domestic and international investors interested to develop higher-end resorts. By the end of 2018, around a dozen hotels and resorts will likely be open for business. Many will emphasize the need for responsible tourism that cares for the environment and local communities. Yet tourism is a double-edged sword, associated with many negative social and environmental impacts. Diligence will be needed to expose behaviors that threaten and undermine this incredible resource, and it will take time to see how Mergui and its people adjust to this new development phenomenon. It's no surprise that many tourists coming to Mergui are fascinated by the Moken. They want to meet and learn about them, to see their way of life. But the Moken have always been a reclusive people, content to keep to themselves. Their main interest is to stay entwined with the sea and their traditions. They have little interest in material consumption, and they prefer to keep their possessions to a minimum, to practice non-accumulation. Yet learning from lessons and mistakes elsewhere and being a culture threatened by wider changes around them, the Moken are slowly realizing that tourists may be a resource they can use for their cultural survival. To engage with tourists on their own terms, a cultural map is being prepared to explain their spiritual and physical relationship with the archipelago. This map will be used by the government as well as the Moken as part of a wider plan to set aside marine and terrestrial resources to enable their cultural survival. Moken do not have any notion or measure of time. They don't know their own age. They have no word for worry and no word for want or goodbye. What they do have is a successful 2,000-year history of life in harmony with nature. We would be wise to study their simple model, to preserve this priceless region as it develops, and thus to keep the spirit of Mergui alive.
you.